The game starts now.
Alright folks, it's been a while. Played Neverwinter and Star Trek Online, and they've both been having summer events, so I've been grinding away on those. So yeah, the video making has kind of fallen by the wayside a little bit. This is a game that I played this morning, just kind of woke up and decided to play one. This is on the map Ring. It's a standard battle, and I am in the Tier IV Clemson. I've decided to add the American destroyers to this account, and let's see, we have a lot of battleships in this match, and each team has 2 destroyers. There's an Isakaze and a Frau Rung on the enemy team. So Pan-Asians, we really don't need to worry too much about their torpedoes hurting us. So in a knife fight, we'll stick with our guns. The Isakaze, strong torpedoes. We want to get in pretty close to those guys, though. Their torpedoes, while powerful, can be a little slow in the water. I think we can gun them down or even torp them. Alright, so the prey is going to be the battleships, of course, and we really want to watch. I have a Phoenix, a Danae, and a couple of St. Louis's, a Colberg. Those can really hurt us. We want to keep an eye out for them. Okay, so as the game starts, we spawn on the northwestern flank. I really want to take on the primary role of the destroyer in a case like this, where there are no caps. So our primary role is going to be to spot for our team, especially, you know, give spotting, give targeting data back to our battleships. So we're going to take the point. We're going to head out on this flank. You know, like I said, other games that I play, they all have summer and winter events. So grinding away on those, I really didn't think anybody wanted to see videos of that stuff. So, you know, I just kind of let the videos fall by the wayside. I apologize for that. Oh, we pick up our first spotting here. It's the Isuzuchi. He's pushing in hard on the islands here. And then there's the Orion for our second spot. We always want to be mindful, especially as we're getting toward the center of the map early in the game, pushing toward the middle where there's islands. There's always a strong possibility of running into an enemy destroyer over here. So we want to keep that in mind. I'm considering throwing out torpedoes on this Isuzuchi because he is sailing in a straight line, and you know how we like to reward that. But being that the island is in the way and he is so close to our detection range, I really decided to creep on around the corner there and remain unspotted. But really, it was kind of a moot point because the enemy Frau Rung, and we meet up with him. Remember, I said you have to be careful here. So we eat a couple of shots there. I really don't know why he has stopped shooting. That's one of the problems with the Pan-Asians, is their turret traverse really is not very good at all. So we're just going to throw out our torps because why not? That close, and we pick up the first blood and a death strike. Just always be mindful when you're putting out torps, where your friendlies are, where they're going to be. Are you going to intercept them? You don't want a team kill. So the Isuzuchi is coming around the corner here. Unfortunately, our torpedoes are on cooldown, and he is going to be right in our face. So we're going to go ahead and pop smoke and just start to engage this guy with our guns, see if we can't get some fire on him. And look at that, first salvo throws out a fire. And he's really not even looking at us. He isn't even paying attention at all. Unfortunately, we have another 20-30 seconds cooldown on those torps. That would have been a perfect opportunity for another torpedo strike right there. But we're going to keep throwing out those high explosive rounds, disable some of his anti-air. And we're going to go ahead and YOLO charge this guy. Now this is a bit tricky. We have a lot of friendlies in the area though. We don't want to throw out torpedoes right here, even though they're coming off cooldown because of our friendly Kaiser. We don't want him running into our torpedoes. So we're going to wait until we come around the back side of this Kaiser to put out our torpedoes. We need to start aggressively maneuvering because we've caught the attention of that St. Louis, and he is putting out some heavy shots on us. So One salvo only on the Isuzuchi should be more than sufficient to take him out. We're going to move around the outside of the Isuzuchi, put the Isuzuchi between us and that St. Louis to help obscure his targeting a little bit. I'm going to start putting out shots back on the St. Louis, try to return some of the pain to him, if we can hit him. Just keep maneuvering, keep abusing the W, A, S, and D keys. We also have the enemy Isakaze out there, and with him being broadside, he is most likely throwing torpedoes toward our battleships. So we're going to take a moment here to reassess the situation. We have the Orion critical mass up there. We have the St. Louis that was intent on gunning us down, and we have taken some damage. We've lost nearly a quarter of our health. But we really need to do something about Capital Acevedo up there in that Isakaze, because there are those torpedoes heading out toward our Kaiser, and he's just going to continue to harass our battleships. So we're going to decide that we're going to get kind of aggressive here. We're going to head up and engage this guy. But we really don't want to charge straight into the face of this St. Louis. So what we're going to do is we're going to head around the backside of this island, put the island between us and the St. Louis, because we are starting to approach our detection range. We don't want to get back in the sights of that St. Louis. And being that the Isakaze seems to be heading up toward this way anyway, we want to head up and see if we can't try to maybe cut him off. But he's turning back out, so all right, looks like he's going to be kiting away from the Kaiser. There's more torpedoes in the water. Yeah, we really need to do something about him. The Isakaze is a strong ship. Tier 4 Japanese destroyer, 7-kilometer torpedoes that hit like a truck and have a very strong flood chance. So while we're heading in there, we're going to assist and try to farm up some damage on this St. Louis. The Clemson's guns are really good. They do have kind of lofty shell arcs, but they're not nearly as bad as what they, or they don't seem to be nearly as bad as what they are toward the end game. They do decent damage, they have a good fire chance, and you get 4 double turrets. So you have a total of 8 guns on this ship. You can bring those wing turrets, you can bring 6 guns to bear at a time. And that's just huge. I mean, it's got another fire on him. These guns can really rack up the damage. And since we are in detectability range of the St. Louis, we don't want to face his broadside, even though he's not paying any attention to us right now. I went ahead and threw out some smoke just until we finish off this St. Louis, because that St. Louis can really be dangerous to us. We need to kill that Isakaze, but we can't do it if we're dead. So we're going to keep throwing out shots on this St. Louis until he's gone. Alright, St. Louis is gone. We have the Phoenix starting to push in on our smoke a little bit. Friendly St. Louis coming up alongside of us. So we're going to head out and see if we can't take care of this Isakaze. He's heading toward his base, so I decide that I'm going to push into their base a little bit. Try to get the enemies coming back over toward us a little bit more. Looks like yep, there goes Steel Dragon Fury. He did a pretty good job, but if you're in a battleship, it's not really a good idea to press forward as aggressively as he was. You can tank a lot of damage, but you can't tank a lot of torpedoes. And pushing aggressively in a German battleship is typically what you really want to do, because they are built for brawling. But when you have a full health Japanese destroyer that seems intent on you being his target, it's typically not the best idea to continue to push forward into those guys. You want to give those destroyers the respect that they're due. Now we have this Orion coming up here as well as a Corvette. They're pushing back over toward us, and we really don't want to drive straight into their face. We don't want to eat a full broadside of British HE. That would end us pretty quickly. But since they are pushing forward, we're going to try to lead them a little bit, maybe throw out some torpedoes that they can drive into. And then we're going to turn back out as we are detected. And since we're detected, we're the destroyer, you know we're going to be targeted. The Isakazi is smoked up. So what I've decided I want to do is head around the side of this little island, abuse the terrain. Here comes some shots from the Corbeil. Alright, so we want to head around the side of this island, abuse the terrain a little bit, keep it between us and that battleship, and try to push in on this Isakazi smoke here. You want to watch the smoke, look for the shots coming out. You know he's going to be throwing torpedoes out on our Phoenix over there, but you still have to keep an eye on that Corbeil. Alright, looks like the Phoenix has put out torpedoes. We have to be careful of that. It looks like this guy is sitting right on the edge of his smoke. Now, we are detected, so he can see us, even though we can't see him. And there he goes, coming out of the smoke. Now, just watch for the torpedoes coming in. And, of course, be mindful of the friendlies. Throw out some torps on him. And it looks like his engines are broken. You can tell by the fire coming out of the smokestacks. There we go. Boom goes the dynamite. Alright, so now we are in a pickle. The Corbeil and the Orion are both looking at us. And here comes the last salvo of torpedoes coming through. As looks like, did our Phoenix go down? Yep, Phoenix went down. So we're going to throw out some smoke as we continue to drive away. Because this Orion and the Corbeil look like they are going to be pushing in on us pretty aggressively. Going to slow down a bit. Throw out some shots on the Corbeil. See if we can. There we go. Start fire on him. Let's see what his intentions are. His intentions are to kill us. He's still looking at us. He is driving straight forward. We really don't want to stop here. Looks like he's going to push our smoke. You don't necessarily have to be in your smoke to take advantage of it, as long as the smoke is between you and the target. So we're going to throw out some torpedoes here. Anticipate him to continue to accelerate a little bit. And we're just going to keep the smoke between us and him as our port torpedoes come down off of cooldown. Friendlies are far enough away that we really don't have to worry about torpedoing them. As looks like the Orion now. Corbeil is turned out. The Orion is still pushing into our smoke. It's like his intention is to drive straight into the smoke. So yeah, and he just took a big hit. So we're going to continue to farm up some damage on him. Maybe we can start him on fire and finish him off. If we would have stayed in our smoke though, right now, see his guns pointed right at us. He was aggressively looking for us, thinking he could finish us off with like one salvo. There's the fire. That should be the end of it right there. As he disappears in the smoke. Last shot out, fire, another fire, and took him straight out. Alright, so that's kill number 4. Let's see if we can't pick up the Kraken. Ooh, Corbeil just took some torpedoes from our... What do we have on the team here? Oh, it's a Wakataki. Okay. Tier 3 Japanese, so he just ate a face load of Japanese torpedoes. Looks like he's flooding. So we're going to head over and see if we can't throw some damage on this guy too. Oh man, Corbeil is about down. Alright, so reassessing. We have the Corbeil. Looks like he's going to die to the flood. We have a Wyoming push, 2 Wyomings pushing in. There goes the Corbeil. We have our Wakataki in the enemy's base rather. There's a Danae out there somewhere hiding, and looks like we have a couple of ships. Our Wyoming is up defending our base. So, all right, the Wyoming's pushing in pretty aggressively. We're going to head in and see if we can assist the Wakataki taking the enemy base. But we're going to throw out some preemptive torpedoes while we're on the way as we come into detection range. Again, we have to be very careful. Those those battleship HE can really do some damage to us. And since we're under half health, we need to still play kind of conservatively here. So throw out some shots, kite away. We're going to head around the side of this island and then come back into the enemy's base. At least that's the intention once we get off detectability here. Got a fire. Of course, the Wyoming is looking right at us, so here come the shots. Ate a little bit there. No problem, he's shooting HE. Alright. So we're just about off of detectability. The Wyoming is pushing in heavily on our Wakataki. Wakataki is smoked up, but he only has 92 health left. So if that Wyoming even sneezes at him, he's done. Wakataki's throwing out torpedoes. Go see if we can assist this guy. I doubt if we're going to be able to make it there in time to make a difference, though. I should have headed into that base right away, but I didn't. So this is going to bring us back into detectability, but the Wyoming isn't even looking at us, and we're going to take advantage of that. If you're in a destroyer, especially one with really good maneuverability like the Americans, don't be afraid to yellow charge a battleship. Abuse their lack of maneuverability, abuse their lack of turret traverse, because you can typically maneuver around a battleship, especially when you're in close. You can maneuver around. Alright, looks like he ate a Japanese torpedo as he falls to the Wyoming. And as you can see here, you can typically maneuver around these battleships. You can dance around them, and their turret traverse just cannot keep up with you. So we're going to put out our starboard torpedoes, anticipate him turning, throw some short, continue to put out gunshots, hoping to start a fire. So we're going to swing out a little wide as his guns are coming around to bear on us. There's a fire. Oh, see, he just fired. So we know we have a good 30 seconds where he cannot even shoot at us. And that second set of torps looks really good. Keep firing on him, and down he goes. Alright, so we are in capturing the enemy base. They only have one battleship left. Somewhere along the line, it looks like that Danae fell. And that was our Kraken. Alright. So looking at this, their Wyoming, the Dragon armor over there, his health is really low. We only have under 3 minutes left in the game. Our Wyoming, Smirnoff over there, he's almost 3/4 health, 2/3 health, and the Wyoming Dragon armor is taking shots from all of our battleships. So we're not going to be able to contribute to that fight. At this point, it is better for us to stay here and try to cap the base just in case something goes on. Just in case Dragon Armor is able to pull off like a dev strike or something, which I really don't see happening. So we're just going to hang out here and let this battle play out. Yeah, when you're... Oh, that's the end of the game. All right, we'll pick this up on the credit screen. Yes, the Clemson really is a very strong ship. The Clemson is at Tier 4 what the Dirtsky is at Tier 3. The guns are amazing. Even though the turret traverse is not up to par with the other Americans, it can be a little tricky to work with the turrets, especially at close-in knife fighting. You have to take that into account. But they're really strong. I mean, 6 per broadside is excellent. The torpedoes, what they lack in range, they more than make up for in punch. They are very usable, and you have a dozen of them. Come on, why not use them, right? All right, so we pulled off the victory. We received 107,000 credits for that fight, 2,182 experience, 110 free experience. We did pick up 2 devastating strikes, First Blood and the Kraken. We dealt a total of 42,337 damage. For the guns, we got 119 shells out with 51 pins, all of it HE, of course. 4 torpedo strikes, 3 incapacitations, 5 kills, 8 fires. This thing is a little firebug. Caused 3 floods and spotted 3 ships. Looking at the leaderboard, we did not pick up the MVP on this one. That went to Lacerated Coyote. Good job, man. He just edged us out with 3 kills of his own. The enemy team MVP looked like it was Possum 2020, so good job there. All right, let's see where our damage went. We sank the Isuzuchi, the Isakaze, the Fra Rung, their Wyoming, and their Orion. We also dealt some damage to the St. Louis, the Corbeil, and the other Wyoming out there. Our damage, the 42,000, let's see, 15,800 of that was from the main battery guns, 17,000 from the torpedoes, and then other damage we got, let's see, 8 fires for 9,260 damage, and then nothing from the floods. Our torpedoes killed them outright. Our potential damage in that one was 479,932. For a Tier 4 fight, that's actually pretty good. I mean, we had a lot of incoming fire, especially from those battleships. And then upon our spotting, we had another 17,830 damage and 2 fires caused from our spotting as well. And here's a peek at the credits in XP. I really feel most comfortable in the American destroyer line. I like the Pan-Asians, I like the Germans, I like the Japanese. The Russians, I mean, they're all good. I really like destroyers, but I believe that the most well-rounded, well-balanced line in the game, at least at this point, is the Americans. We'll see what the British bring to the table, but I don't really think it'll upset that. I think that the Americans will probably still be on top. All right, folks. Well, thank you for joining me today. This has been a lot of fun, and I look forward to seeing you next time.